Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Game Junk Podcast, episode 253, recording on Monday, November 17th, 2025. My name is Frank.
My name is Sean.
And my name's Andrew.
And a very big news week. We have the Game Award official nominees after our predictions last week. And even bigger than that, a potential Megaton drop this week. We'll tell you if it's a Megaton or not. Steam unveiled the Steam Machine and Steam Frame, their new standalone VR device, coming in 2026, both. So we're going to talk about those and how excited we are for them, or not, who knows. Talk about the Game Award nominees and some other stuff we played, Black Ops 7, and among others. So, yeah, that's the plan. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Not too bad.
Did a little gaming. Not very much, though. A little bit.
I've been gaming up a storm 24/7. My gaming is out of control. I need to be stopped. People are tracking my movements, my online activity. Jay's always commenting. Oh, there's many. There's many. It's not just Jay. Okay.
Your mom, your dad, grandma.
Oh, they're probably concerned. All right. We're going to start with the Steam Machine news. I think it's the bigger story. I think it's got a lot more meat on the bone. We kind of did the Game Awards last week. We weren't that far off. Not a lot of surprises. So, out of nowhere, Valve drops an announcement. I think they called in a bunch of, influencers, journalists relating to tech, brought them in to show them these new technologies and went in depth. This is not your typical announcement of just an image or, a pie in the sky idea coming 2 years from now. It's coming out soon, both devices. So what do you guys want to talk about first? Steam Machine / controller or Steam Frame?
I mean, Steam Machine probably is of more interest to more people.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Steam Machine is it's an Xbox, like Steve Jobs' little computer from the 90s. It's a black square, and it is a small PC designed to facilitate a console experience using Steam OS. So basically what's being run on the Steam Deck, and provide a big picture console experience for playing your Steam games. Sounds like the specs are around a PS5. I've heard between an Xbox Series S and a PS5, going closer to a PS5. It's got, I don't know the exact chip. I mean, there's tons of videos on this. I don't think we're going to get into insane technical details here because we don't have everything. But kind of the ramifications or what we think about it, along with the Steam Machine, should mention a new Steam controller, which tech-wise is kind of the most interesting thing to me. Some of the Steam Frame stuff is pretty cool too. But kind of pioneering off their previous Steam controller design from whatever that was, 10, 15 years ago, with kind of touchpads. And borrowing from the Steam Deck as well, with the square touchpads, and incorporating those on a controller with some interesting wireless magnetic charging. So is this a game changer? Is this the console killer? Is this the future of gaming? What say you, gentlemen?
It's.
Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
I was just going to say it's interesting, this announcement. Like, we just 2 or 3 weeks ago, we're kind of like console war's over, and Huck was mentioning this in our own iMessage chat. But it's like one console war ends, a new one begins, and it does seem to be. We talked like months ago, I think, about how PC gaming is definitely on the rise. Like, there's no question. The last few years in particular, the younger generation seems to be much more focused on playing games on PC. So now trying to capture that market and that audience, but give them a very convenient console-esque experience, it's pretty smart. And we know that's kind of what Xbox was thinking potentially for their next console as well. So yeah, it feels like that's where things are going. And but this is going to shake things up for sure.
We should say no price announcements on anything yet. One video I watched, I feel like with their conversations with Valve, they seem to indicate it's going to be priced higher. There was a lot of like justification about how people publishing games need to make money. I really didn't understand the arguments that were in this video, but I the vibe I got is it could be expensive, and there was uncertainty with price relating to tariffs and other things like that. So no price announcements yet. I assume it'll be 400 American, maybe 550 Canadian would be my guess.
I'm thinking more than that, but
I guess maybe that price without a controller included. I think if you just want the box and want to use your own Bluetooth controllers. But I think one of the features of the controllers that's pretty interesting is like the latency and wireless pairing. So there's a wireless dongle for charging the controller, and also a wireless attachment for streaming to, I think, 4 controllers to the Steam machine, which seemed kind of interesting. I don't really know how it works, but lots of tech here. Huck, what are you thinking, bud?
Well, I mean, it was kind of a joke when I said the next console war is starting, but you never know. I mean, I would think that the target audience of people who have Steam kind of running and using it regularly already have a computer that they play at. So, I mean, like today, monitors are so big and you sit so close to them. They're pretty big TV right in your face if you really want to play that way. So I don't know what like big advantages this gives, other than that you could sit on your couch and have the wireless controller. But I mean, you could do that with your computer. You could sit back and, I mean, it's not quite the same, but pretty close. You know, you can achieve a lot of the same stuff with a computer. So, and I don't know if the market is that big for people who have never had Steam before and are going to jump into this thing. I don't know who would do that. Maybe, like, I mean, maybe people who love, you know, Half-Life or something from back in the day and are like, oh, I'll pick up this thing and play Half-Life again. I don't know, like, or other, you know, Valve properties, but it seems weird, a little weird actually to me that they're doing this. The VR thing seems less weird, and maybe it's just a delivery device for the VR tech to make it a little easier. But I even thought like VR was dying, to be honest. I know Dwy Guy's all about it, but it doesn't seem like...
Well, I'm thinking it might be dying too, but...
Okay. Because I mean, to me, it doesn't seem like Oculus or MetaQuest or whatever they're calling it now is really like full bore into it anymore. What was the other...
It's weird because like all the kids are playing like the free to play games still, and that still seems to be like there's not a ton of huge, you know, AAA hit VR games. Whether people don't want them or there's not enough out there, I don't know. But
okay, we haven't talked Steam Frame yet. Let's put this on hold. This is Steam Machine discussion. I haven't really thought about this until right now, but I assume the rise in PC gaming is only because of streamers. Streamers have to stream from their desk.
It's definitely a big part. We did touch on that, I think, when we talked about this before. Like, I think that's people see.
I think that's how kids watch stuff on YouTube, and they're like, that's how these people play games. Or they aspire to be influencers or streamers or whatever. And it just, I think even some of my friends' kids, that's why they got a PC to play like just basic games, even though they have a console. There's the appeal or potential to be a streamer, which I don't think is really feasible or a great idea. But I don't think it's because it's a better experience inherently. I think it's just because it's what people are seeing. And I think for people that are deciding whether to buy a console or not, I think a Steam machine is a good option. And especially if the price is right, I think there's the selling your parents or yourself on buying something that is going to have a library that will last forever. It can be taken anywhere, played anywhere, and less rigid, less costs, no upfront costs for online play and all these things. I think the Steam machine's a no-brainer. I'll just ask the question. Do you think you will buy a Steam machine?
No.
I'm a maybe. Like, so the thing is, like, for me personally, I love the Steam Deck, and that definitely brought me more into the Steam ecosystem. So I've got a pretty big library now of games that, I would like to play more of. Thing is, I can't help but think I still have a pretty good gaming PC right here that I could hook up to a TV. We've talked about it's not that hard to do, but it's still, there's something about it that doesn't quite work, that doesn't quite feel easy to do. And maybe I just need to get over that. But
I tried streaming with Steam Link again the other day because I haven't done it in a while to see how it goes. It worked pretty good. So I think that's one feature they're touting for this, is that, even if you have a great PC, you could do this already with like the Steam Link app and other things, but you can kind of stream games to it right from there. And like, if this is really going to hinge on what's like Steam OS and big picture mode, it's been pretty good. And like on a Steam Deck, I sold my Steam Deck, and kind of maybe at a perfect time, because I'd rather have a Steam machine. I tried to do the PC gaming thing a few years ago, and I like it. I like a big TV. I like to be on my couch or in my bed. And this is finally, hopefully, a definitive option for doing that without some of the hassles and wrinkles of PC gaming. And even the Steam Deck, I had the dock as well. It always caused issues. It would change resolutions in games, and when I would stream it to a TV, I'd have to go into settings and change everything. So it's still not like a stress-free or frictionless experience using Steam branded and Steam OS devices on a TV. So,
well, I mean, why do you think that would be different with the Steam machine? It's going to run the same OS. And I mean, other than the fact that maybe it'll be configured automatically for a TV, is that what you're thinking? Like,
yeah,
it's more of the going between the apps. You think it's saving your personal settings?
Yeah, I mean, and it's more resolution outputs through the dock versus the deck. And when you switch from handheld mode to dock mode, that was like 2 years ago I tried that, probably something like that. They might have ironed some of this stuff out, but it was not a great experience from what I've done, and Steam Link hasn't been that great either. So I kind of feel like this is the option I've been waiting for, and I will definitely check it out.
So I was just comparing the tech specs between the PS5 and now I was using like the Google AI PS5
summary.
specs. So I don't summary. So I don't know if they're exactly accurate, but it looks like the CPU is like 2 generations higher, and the GPU is 1 generation higher, and the RAM is pretty similar. The PS5 RAM is a little better, and the internal storage is roughly the same speed. And so, I mean, it's pretty equivalent, if not a slightly better than a PS5 in my, like, from just this quick summary.
Yeah,
so
and the Digital Foundry was pretty insistent that it was less powerful. There was details about the GPU and some other things, that they're modified versions of SKUs of existing chips.
Okay.
So
I did see there was a line here in one article. It should be able to run most of the Steam library at a smooth 60 frames per second. So, that's kind of vague, but it makes it seem like, hey, even current, like, new AAA games, they're aiming to be able to run those 60 frames per second. That's pretty good. I mean,
I heard on Linus Tech Tips that the Valve people told him or them that their goal is to have any game, like current gen game, running at mid settings at 4K 60 frames per second. So the 4K added element is something there, which sounds like a PS5 for the most part. But the Digital Foundry summary seemed a little skeptical of that, and like especially the 4K 60 frames thing. And they didn't say it was impossible or anything, but they just seem to have a few more doubts than the other video I watched. They should say expansion, you can add an M2 drive at the bottom. There's a micro SD port, and that micro SD stuff we'll talk about a bit with the Steam Frame as well, because there's some interesting features using your library on a micro SD card that I learned about. And I think really I would like to see Steam or Valve put a little more effort into Steam OS and big picture mode. I feel like it's always kind of falling behind. And if they made a very consistent push for the usability, and not that it's bad now, but I think it could be better, I think they could really do some damage in this space, especially just making PC gaming accessible to anyone. I still don't think it's there. Even on modern PCs, there's always issues with games I play. I have to troubleshoot things sometimes, and it's going to kind of come down to that as far as the success of this machine, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
I do think the Steam Deck has been a step towards that, though. Like the whole thing of things being Steam Deck verified, where it's like, okay, this game is going to run on this device. Like they'll have, I'm sure, the same for Steam Machine.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It does say Steam Machine
nice, like
verified on the Valve page.
Already?
Yeah. Well, no, it talks about how there'll be a little check mark for Steam Machine verified, just like there is for Steam Deck.
Yeah, that is a nice little system and pretty easy to understand. I think one video I watched said the estimated power of the Steam Machine is 6 times that of the Steam Deck, which
I would hope so.
Seems like a lot, but yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like the Steam Deck is nice, but it definitely can't run current AAA stuff anymore. When it first came out, it was like right on the edge. Sometimes you could get away with it, but not anymore. So,
and it's tough because, I mean, unless you follow tech stuff, which I don't, I look up kind of tech standards and cutting edge when I'm building a PC like that time. Other than that, it's like I don't stay up to date with new silicon and all these other things that people are into. So it's kind of hard to even evaluate it. Last thing, maybe we should comment on visual design of the Steam Machine, the controller, slightly bigger Ouya, maybe. I'm getting Ouya vibes.
Well, they did seem to be like pushing, or at least hinting at that it's like a portable thing. Like, I don't know how portable it really is. Like, I don't know how big or heavy it is, but like, I don't know if they're thinking, again, like, maybe aiming at families or something. Like, can a kid have one of these and bring it to their friend's house to play? I don't know if that's a concern or something they're hoping to push that idea, but.
I mean, it looks pretty portable to me.
The controller is giving me a little Dreamcast vibes with how clunky it is. Yeah, the Dreamcast controller.
Well, I see a Jaguar controller. If you take the pads away and put in the 15 buttons, I'm getting heavy Jaguar vibes. I think the controller is pretty ugly, to be honest.
Yeah.
I even remember the last Steam controller.
Bulky.
I was not crazy about it. It felt really cheap. They say this one is, substantial and has some heft to it. We'll have to get it in our hands before we can say for sure. Other small features, the plate at the front of the Steam Machine can be swapped out for your own custom plates and other things. So it'll be interesting to see what communities do with that. Could be fun. Maybe you get like sweet. I've seen ones with screens. Maybe you get cool achievement notifications and fanfare on it when you do stuff. Let's see where this goes. But definitely a surprising announcement. Came out of nowhere. Not a lot of hype. just dropped it, and it was everywhere and coming soon, very soon, 2026. And I think the initial reports I read were like earlier 2026, like not late in the year.
It kind of seemed like that. I mean, obviously the big question is still price, but I'll be curious, like have you read anything, Frank, about like, is this going to be sold in like retail stores? Because Steam Deck was kind of, they just sold direct to consumers. It's still, I think I read they still sold like 8 million units or something, which is pretty good.
I would bet my life it's direct to consumer again. I think that's how they maximize profits, and they have like pipelines and systems for Steam Deck already. I don't know why they changed that. And same with the what was the Index? Same thing. You could only buy it through them. So I would be absolutely shocked if this was sold in stores. But yeah, very kind of exciting. It definitely changes things up a bit.
I was just reading about the controller. Did you guys read about these next gen magnetic thumbsticks?
Okay, I saw something about this. They
TMR technology. I was like, what the hell is TMR? And it's like tunnel magneto resistance, and it's like two magnets separated slightly by an insulator, and then the distance is like the change in the magnetic field is how they determine the deflection of the stick. I'm like, that is pretty fucking cool. So,
I mean, it sounds cool. I don't know if it'll actually feel good.
And I wonder how, like, what the failure rate is. Like, you know, if you drop this thing, is that going to knock the insulator out or chip it? Or, like, it'll be interesting to see how durable it is. I mean, not that current controllers are that durable if you chuck them against a wall or something when you're playing Hollow Knight and can't.
Yeah, I just dropped my Steam Deck last week, and one of the bumpers is not working.
Speaking of Steam Deck, one of my bumpers is not working. I didn't drop shit. Just a ride broken.
That's interesting.
It's like, God damn it. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's still, it works, but you have to like press very hard in like a very specific location.
It doesn't quite click like easily. Yeah. So.
PC Master Race taking a hit here.
It's not PC.
Good old Gabe and Valve. Where's the quality control, bud? Maybe I'll wait for the second round of Steam machines. But
you should.
Okay, let's get to the Steam frame. Unless anyone has anything they'd like to add about the Steam machine.
Nope.
Okay, so Steam frame is kind of surprising. Valve Index came out a long time ago. Hadn't really heard much about plans for a second one. I think there were rumors they were working on a follow-up. Nothing really substantiated. But this is a standalone headset. Their big thing with all the Index was like outside tracking. So it was so accurate because everything was tracked from external cameras and devices. So this is much like a MetaQuest or...
The form factor actually reminds me a lot of the Apple Vision Pro.
Yes, it looks a lot like the Apple Vision Pro, but it's self-contained, and it's running on what kind of chip we got here?
Snapdragon 8 Gen 3.
Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, everyone's favorite microchip.
Which that's what I mean. Quest is running on Snapdragon as well. I think a slightly older version of that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a very nice design. I agree with Huck. It looks a lot like the Apple Vision. And everything I've seen about it, it's got like the batteries in the back of the strap and also serves as a weight counterbalance to the front of the headset. So I've been hearing kind of raves about the ergonomics and comfort level of the device. Obviously, we don't know what it feels like to wear it, but I think the big thing people are talking about here is the tech. The fact that it kind of has 3 modes. It can stream VR games from your Steam machine or PC, obviously, and it can run things off the hardware itself. You can install games on your micro SD or whatever and run it off the device. And the third one they talk about is just like as a big screen mode. So just being able to run any game like it's on a big TV in front of you. And I just want to get the term here right, but this is all kind of the streaming that I've heard reports on is flawless, and like it's all made possible.
Foveated streaming, is that what it is?
Foveated streaming, which there are equivalents or similar processes for foveated rendering with using level of detail to detect focus and where rendering happens, but this is a foveated streaming. So inside these machines are cameras. PSVR 2 has this that can track your eyes and movement, and it will stream at a higher quality where your eyes are looking and at a lower quality elsewhere where it's kind of imperceptible to your peripheral vision, which everything I've heard, this tech works flawlessly. Only downsides I've heard about it, light bleed is not great. It's an LCD, not OLED display, which people have some doubts about, and black levels and something like that. All of these, I guess that's the other theme with these two devices. And the Steam Deck to some degree, threading a cost needle, not a lot. Like it's definitely not the most advanced tech. It's like trying to package it up into an accessible, affordable package that is multi-purposed and appeals to a wide range of consumers. Not a bad strategy, obviously. So what are you guys thinking? Sean, is this the VR device that's finally going to push you over the edge? You're going to be Mr. VR permanently?
Permanently? I don't know about that, but I mean, I'm interested. I guess I'm a little bit confused, like in terms of, like, I assume you can you can hardwire it to the computer as well. Like, I didn't really see anything about that.
Yeah, that was my big question. Not because even battery life. One video said the Valve engineers said best case 4 hours, worst case 1 hour, which is like not great. And we have all had issues with the Quest. I definitely have. Meta Quest 3 battery life is absolute shit. And trying to charge, sometimes I find I can't even charge and play simultaneously. Like it doesn't charge fast enough, which is insane to me. So that's the one big question mark for me. But Sean, like, what do you prefer? Like, do you prefer hardwired experiences or streaming wireless experiences?
It's tough. I would say, like right now, if I have a choice, I still kind of prefer PSVR 2.
Me too.
It's kind of my preferred VR headset, but the lens on the Quest 3 is a little better. And whenever I do sit down and play something that's like a AAA VR game or whatever, I'm always kind of still pretty impressed by what the Quest 3 can do. But it's obviously, you know, it's not as good as running something on your PC or running something on the PlayStation. So that's kind of the question. Like, it seems like this is trying to do both, I guess. But I would have thought that Valve would be pushing much more the PC hardware. Like that's kind of what they're known for, is like AAA high quality experiences, and that's what the Valve Index, you know, was for a long time sort of like the best VR headset if you want to do PC VR with a great PC gaming PC rig. So,
but clearly
like
probably wasn't a big moneymaker either. So I think they're trying to go big with this stuff. Well, one last thing I'll say, the cameras for pass through and being able to see the room, I think are just black and white. The cost cutting there and some other stuff. And the controllers are very similar to the Meta Quest 3. They kind of acknowledge they're almost a direct ripoff, but do feature finger tracking using light and other techniques.
It does have the thumbsticks or like that TMR stuff that Huck was talking about, though. So
yeah,
that's
Huck.
nice.
Any thoughts on the Steam frame?
Not too much. I mean, I was trying to compare it to the Apple Vision Pro, and the Apple Vision Pro has way better resolution, like an order of magnitude better almost. Like it says 23 million pixels for the Apple Vision Pro, and it looks like only about 4 million or close to 5 million for this thing. I don't know what the newer Meta Quest 3 is, but I don't know.
It's similar to the Steam frame. It's pretty close.
So, I mean, nothing really jumps out here as, you know, pushing the boundaries compared to what's already out there. But I don't know. I kind of like the form factor. It looks balanced, I guess, like on your face. To me, I always felt like the MetaQuest was pulling me forward just because it's so bulky in the front.
Yeah, having the battery strap or whatever does balance it out, kind of the same way they're talking about with this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
One of
So,
the big things with it as well is like the streaming, and I think even for the controller, they're really not into Bluetooth streaming. Like it's an issue for quality, and they have adapters for streaming all this stuff, and it's advised you plug this adapter right into your Steam machine or PC or whatever you're using to stream it. But people are like losing their shit over the tech that you can take Windows 86 applications, load them on a micro SD, and run them on this Snapdragon architecture on the device itself. And one of the features I teased earlier is you could put a library of games on a micro SD card. Worth noting, I think neither support micro SD Express, if I heard that correctly. But you could just move it from one thing to the other. So you could put this cart in your Steam machine with all those games, put it into your Steam frame if you're traveling and or doing something, and just run games off that micro SD and on a big screen TV or play on a plane and do that kind of stuff. And I'm sure it is quite the technical accomplishment, but not a needle mover for me. Like I can already do that. I can stream those games and do other things. I don't know if it's that big of a deal.
yeah, they are kind of pushing that idea of like, hey, you can play regular 2D games on here as well, which, the Quest has been doing. Like they do have xCloud on there now and stuff like that. So, but I don't know. I don't know how many people are that interested in that. I guess it's like you said, if you're traveling and you don't have like your whole setup with you, maybe that's useful.
Obviously, the only thing that matters with this device really is the price. I mean, if it's the right price, I think a lot of people will buy it. It could be, I could see the price of this being anywhere from 600 to 1200 American. I honestly don't know. And what's the MetaQuest 3 in the US right now? I would assume they're going to try to be.
I think it's like 649, something like that.
Yeah, I would assume they're going to be comparable with that. And I think even they have an advantage of expandable storage. I think that alone is almost a game changer. And I'm guessing you can jailbreak this thing and just, I know someone mentioned you can sideload Android stuff. And I think probably you could probably do it for MetaQuest stuff as well and run it right on there. I'm sure everything. And the one video, Digital Foundry, I think was really, I had not heard about this, and I'm curious if Sean has ever looked into this. They were talking a lot about classic boomer shooters having ports for VR that people love, like Jedi Knight, and some people apparently lose their shit over these. Have you tried these things or?
No, I know there's a couple like software like programs that basically can turn anything that's like a first person game into VR like pretty seamlessly. I have not really tried that, but I'm kind of curious. I've tried there's like a VR version of Half-Life 2. It's not quite like, it's not through that thing. It's somebody actually kind of did up a mod, I guess, but it was interesting because it's still basically the first person game, but it works pretty well. So yeah, there's lots of stuff like that out there if you're interested. Again, is VR dead? I don't know. I'm hoping this brings it back a little bit. It's felt like even the companies that, have the hardware are not pushing it that hard these days. So Sony's kind of all but abandoned it. There's a couple of games that came out this year. Quest or like Meta, like Deadpool VR is coming out this week. So that's probably their biggest game of the year. But like I said, with the Game Awards, I was like, I don't even know if there's 5 big VR games that came out this year. So,
and one feature it doesn't have, which is like lower end. One of my favorite things about PSVR 2 is haptic feedback in the headset itself. I think that stuff really adds a lot to the VR experience. I think they said the front mask is detachable. I don't know.
It's like some sort of magnetic clip or something, it sounds like.
Yeah, like the front piece is magnetic and comes off. I heard some speculation as to what you could do with that, but to be honest, I've already forgotten it. I'm not really seeing why that's a huge benefit. But yeah, I mean, it's both of these things for me really are price. If the price is right, I would consider buying both.
That the battery life thing is probably so low because if you look at that streaming dongle, it's running like a 6 gigahertz like radio signal plus the Wi-Fi, and both are running like the kit is running both antennas at the same time. So that's how they stream everything in through the 6 gigahertz radio signal, and then they connect to the internet with the Wi-Fi, and they probably have some other and then the Bluetooth as well. So, that's pretty high power frequency that they're popping through there. So I bet that drains it pretty quick if you're doing that streaming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious about wired experiences. No info on that at all yet. And I mean, these are great, but if the battery only lasts for an hour and you got to charge it again, like that, honestly, that's why I didn't use my Quest 3 hardly ever, because it would die so quickly. I'm like, oh. And then we try to plug it in. You need some 20-foot USB-C cable, and then it doesn't even charge properly. It's kind of a mess. I'm surprised that really doesn't get called out more.
For the Quest 3, you really need a battery pack. Like, that's the only way to
play
more than an hour at a time.
The idea with this one is the battery's at the back with, I believe, a USB-C port designed to allow you to put batteries on your back or clip it to the back of your body, where I think a lot of them go, and kind of keep it out of your way and just have a small wire going right from battery extensions into the headset itself. But I mean, that's a whole nother world of VR. As soon as people talk about custom like face fittings and all these things and when you're starting to get into that, it's like, well, what am I buying? If I'm buying, even with the Quest 3, sometimes I'm like, there's all these better, more comfortable attachments and light bleed features. And it's like, well, what am I paying for in the base version? So I definitely have more question marks with the Steam frame than I do with the Steam machine. I think anyone can picture what the Steam frame is. I know what it is. The Steam machine. Steam frame, a lot more questions and doubts as to what this thing could be, but a lot of potential. And I was definitely swayed by the enthusiastic responses of influencers, but we cannot trust those.
They can all be bought.
Yeah. Well, I'm not counting on those reactions at all. So big week for Valve and PC gamers. Sean, go ahead.
Just to correct the pricing, it looks like Quest 3, the 512 gig version, is $499 in the US.
Yeah, I mean, if it's that much for this, I will buy one 100%. I won't even think twice.
Do you guys know this, the pancake lenses it mentions? Is that a new feature? Does that seem like...
I believe the Quest 3 uses pancake lenses. Don't quote me on it, but
that's what I thought
it was a pretty standard thing based on what I heard. And there's lots of super high-end VR kits out there for PC markets that I don't even know about, like names I don't even know or couldn't recite. So I'm definitely not plugged into current top of the line tech in terms of VR.
Yeah, I didn't even realize you could get prescription lens inserts. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. There's people who live under the visor. Sean talks a big game. He acts like he gives a shit about VR, but...
I got to live in meat space sometime, What can I do?
It's just... for whatever reason, it's just not something I want to return to. I like playing VR. It is immersive and fun, but... just not something I want to keep coming back to. But of course, that's why I have to buy this and never play it. That is the one rule of VR. Buy every VR device, game, and never play it.
I think that's just your rule in general, is it not? It's not
oh
just
hell
VR.
no. I've been no. I try to play everything. VR.
That's what I'm saying. You buy
If you could track
everything.
play time to money spent, it would destroy just basic console games and other things I buy, because I've bought so many games that I haven't even played in VR ever. When they're on sale, I buy shit all the time. I'll play this for sure. Never happens. Okay. Any other thoughts on the Steam and Valve takeover of gaming?
No, but definitely interested to see what happens with it.
Just one quick follow-up. We've been hearing about this for a long time. Will there be a console-less future in our lifetimes?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah?
Big time.
So Nintendo, Sony, their games are on everything.
Nintendo will be the last holdout, obviously.
I'm not saying there won't be unique games. I just don't think there'll be like a console you buy.
Well, to me, the interesting thing there is, will Nintendo software be available on anything in the future?
Yeah. Once we get the Neuralink implants, we'll just have it beamed right into our brains and projected into our eyeballs.
I'm less convinced. I think consoles will be around till the time I die. But that's not saying much. I could die in a couple of weeks. Who knows what the fuck's going on? Okay, let's get on to the Game Award nominees. Let's talk Game of the Year. We were pretty close. 6 nominees. Claire Obscure.
Some of us were closer than others.
Some were very
not really
close.
Keeping track, but
How many did you get, Sean? 5 out of 6?
6 out of 6, baby.
You said Kingdom Come Deliverance 2?
Hey, you guys questioned me. You laughed.
Bullshit. I'm
laughed.
going back to the tape.
I got it on my notes.
He did.
Well, congratulations, Sean.
Thank you.
You're a wonderful predictor, and maybe you just know the brain of Keeley better than anyone else.
Maybe.
I find it tough to get into his brain sometimes, just to be perfectly honest. So, Game of the Year, 6 nominees, as predicted by none other than Sean Dwyer on this podcast last week. Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So kind of what we were expecting.
Blueprints didn't make the cut. Split Fiction and Ghost of Yotei, I guess, were the main ones that we thought
I'm
might
shocked
also
by
be in there.
Blueprints, to be honest. I thought that was a
Somebody
darling.
mentioned in the comments, and I had read this as well, that there's a big localization issue with that game where like some of the puzzles and stuff just don't translate to other languages. So apparently, there is a big international panel that's part of this, and they, potentially can't play Blueprints in at least their own language.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
Not going to be winning any accessibility awards, or what's the
Yep, that's it.
title of that award?
Something like that. Best in accessibility.
Yeah, let's. Is there now? I don't think there's any other categories other than maybe game direction, features, Split Fiction, and Ghost of Yotei. So, I think who Sean might have even speculated Ghost of Yotei for direction. And I concurred. Obviously, the big thing is Claire Obscure. Lots of nominees, or nominations, pardon me. Other one that stood out to me, Shinobi Art of Vengeance getting Best Action Game, which reminded me I need to go back and play that.
Ninja Gaiden 4 got nominated, but not, what's the other Ninja Gaiden game?
Ragebound.
So
No nominations. Will 3 Claire Obscure performers split the vote for best performance and allow Troy Baker
I mean, he's going to win, obviously.
sweep in with Indy?
Of course. He must.
Is it really like he's just doing an imitation though? Do you know what I mean?
But look how good it
I
is.
think he's
I
great
know
in
what
it.
you mean.
I don't. If there's one person I don't want to praise necessarily, it's Troy Baker, but he's really good in that. I've got to go back to Clair Obscur. I do not understand. Like art direct. I don't understand how this game got nominated for art direction. It's an ugly game. It is like
It's probably the characters,
the
like
color
enemies.
palette in the levels I played are muddied, generic. If Clair Obscur wins for art direction, I'm boycotting the Game Awards for the rest of my life. It's over. It's over.
We've heard
No
this
one
before.
can look at that game and say it deserves best art direction. It would be an abomination. It should not even be nominated.
I mean, I just feel like I need to see more environments to really be able to weigh in on that.
I've seen 3, and I wasn't impressed by a single one. Games like what was it, Immortals of Avium? Is that the game I liked? That was an Unreal game that had like a typical Unreal look. Even that looks better than this, or than Clair
Yeah.
Obscur. So,
I mean, it should get. I mean, Death Stranding 2 or Yote should take that 100%.
yeah. I think all the other art direction nominees are pretty good, but
It might win.
that one,
I mean, it might win a lot of other categories, though. Like, it might win
Yeah,
score,
I'm sure it
music.
will.
I mean, what's the difference? I guess
Yep.
audio design is more sound
It
effects.
might
but-
win best indie game and best first indie game.
I would assume it's going to win both of those.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't have really. It's every year you can kind of predict how these are going to go. I think it's more interesting to talk about the surprises or strange things. Like maybe worth noting, best multiplayer. Arc Raiders, Battlefield, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Peak, and Split Fiction. So not a lot of the big multiplayer games I hear about. And just a side note, when did Clash Royale become the biggest game again? How did this happen? Every one of my friends' kids, if I ask them what game they're playing, Clash Royale, Clash Royale.
That's funny. My son just installed Clash Royale on my phone and my iPad, and I'm like, just do not buy anything in that thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
my friend, I don't want to tell the story my friend told me how much money
Uh-oh.
he got hit up for in Roblox when his,
Oh boy.
like, we're talking
Got to put a password on that bad boy.
a lot of money that kind of he got fucked because when you migrate from an iOS device to another, it did not retain the like buying.
Yeah, I've heard of
all the
that happening with
permissions.
Fortnite too. People
Yeah.
have like lost their accounts and all the skins they bought. And
Yikes.
stuff.
Anyway, Clash Royale. Like, are they just paying streamers to say that it's good? Is this who is the
Definitely
streamer in
certain
Mythic
streamers
Quest?
like Kieran watches Jinxie and he picked it up this year and it took off. So I don't know if him specifically, but
Okay. What the hell are we talking about? Any other game awards? Surprises?
not really. I mean, like we were talking about the VR there briefly, and I guess I have heard of all these games. Alien Rogue Incursion, which came out late last year, Arcane Age, which I still have to try. Deadpool VR, kind of questionable that this is getting nominated since it comes out tomorrow. Like, what's the cutoff there? Ghost Town, which I did play and finish and liked a fair bit, and Midnight Walk, which I kind of forgot about.
I forgot my favorite thing here by far, Absalom getting nominated for best independent game. Just, giving the seal of approval. I gave the seal of approval. They're corroborating my seal of approval. But it's always the best feeling to me out of anything with the Game Awards when I look at best independent game and I've played all 6 and liked them. I'm like, okay, that's a good sign, because I hate when it's like 5 games I've never heard of and I got to go seek them out immediately and they never really line up to be as great as they say they are. So I think they have great selections for best independent game this year. And really
three of them are nominated for Game of the Year as well.
I was going to say that's the story to me. Independent games kind of taking over and AAA studios not releasing a lot of stuff and letting other things come in. And I should say Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I did play it a bit. I got it from the library and I was not loving it. I guess it's kind of what are those RPGs called? Like ARPGs, or it's not an action RPG. It's almost like an immersive
CRPG?
sim. It's like a CRPG or immersive sim kind of thing. And I just don't vibe with those games that much, but people love it. So I was surprised to see it nominated, but it's kind of cool. I think it's a nice unexpected nomination. It's nice to see it get mixed up a bit. Huck, any last thoughts or?
Yeah, well, just on the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I mean, it's a big change from, I wasn't Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 riddled with all this controversy about how they're racist or something like that. So it's
I
like
don't know.
a big swing from being called racist to now Game of the Year, the next game, which is basically the same game, probably like a couple years later in the timeline. So it's interesting to see that. The only thing I was just looking at, there's a couple games in the first time debut indie game, which I currently can't find in my list, but there's like a couple games I had not heard of, like this Despelate and Dispatch. I heard of that Mega Bonk game, but
Dispatch I just picked up. That's the like
Dispatch one.
ex-Telltale.
Oh, is that what it is?
People?
The art style and the animation is incredible. Now it looks like a high quality cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played it yet, but I got to check that out. And Despelate, we talked about earlier this year.
Yeah,
it's like a short kind of
Soccer
themed thing. Yeah.
I think a narrative adventure game for the most part, similar to, I can't think of, what was the cooking game that I loved? Why can't I think of what it's called? Is it Venba?
Venba?
Okay. It didn't sound right in my head. Dispatch, also an adventure game, it looks like, for the most part. And yeah, I think the debuts are kind of interesting. There was one other thing in the debuts. Oh, Megabonk. I tried Megabonk briefly this week. It's so similar to Vampire Survivors. Like when you open a chest, everything's the same. I'm like, it just feels gross to me. It's so similar. And I don't think I can do it. And I know
Just
similar to Vampire
from
Survivors.
first person's perspective, right?
No, it's third person.
Does it feel
third
similar
person,
to Castlevania or similar to Vampire Survivors?
Yeah, I was going to mention, obviously, Vampire Survivors is not without its own plagiarism controversies, and including poster art and sprites in the game. So it feels a little less gross, but Megabonk, I don't know. I just can't do it right now, even though I hear great things. Number one takeaway, I have to give Clear Obscure another chance just so I can roast it if I have to. Either I'm going to love it or I'm going to roast it. I got to commit to one or the other. Okay, moving on to what we played.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, how many of us have tried Black Ops 7?
Nope.
Did you get on try it on Game Pass, Huck? No?
I installed it. I did not get a chance to play it yet.
Okay, that is the game du jour. One of the biggest game releases of the year. Sean and I did the first mission in co-op. I've done 5 rounds of zombies and maybe 4 games of multiplayer. So, Sean, what are you thinking here, pal?
Well, yeah, so the co-op campaign thing's kind of interesting. There's only been a couple other Call of Duty games that had a co-op campaign. I think maybe Black Ops 3, I want to say, and World at War. But not that I've played either of those, but I just remember looking that up at some point because I was curious. So it's interesting because this one, like when you go to the campaign, it doesn't even give you like a single player option. It just is co-op campaign is the only way to play the campaign, which is kind of what it feels like because it's always online. You can't pause the game. There's no checkpoints in the sense that if you like quit the game and come back, if you were in the middle of a level, you'll have to start at the beginning of the level again, which, I know the levels aren't that long, but for those of us who are sometimes a little bit busy, that's a pain in the butt. But yeah, the first level, I was kind of surprised, and I don't know if this is spoilers. I don't really want to. I guess I'll try to be vague about it, but there's kind of an interesting choice direction that the campaign seems to be going, which I didn't really expect, but I am kind of liking it. Like it's definitely going in a more, I mean, there's certainly been some science fiction elements in Call of Duty before. This is going even maybe a little beyond that. But I'm liking it. Like it definitely is unexpected, and I'm kind of down for something very different and out there. And yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed that first mission.
Yeah, I did too. So I have even though I play every Call of Duty every year in multiplayer, I have absolutely zero affinity for the legacy of the story of Black Ops and all these characters that are like, is anyone into this stuff? Like, it's just so weird that they highlight this character's back. Oh my God, people are going to lose it. I'm like, does anyone care about this?
I mean, I have to assume the majority of people don't even play the campaign. But
and it's like, this guy's back. This actor's back. Oh my God, this bad guy's back. I'm like, okay. I mean, I recognize them or whatever, but I don't care. But this, as Sean said, the mission we played in the campaign, it gets a little wacky, and I was kind of enjoying the wackiness. I need more wackiness in my Call of Duty, and I need it to take itself a little less seriously, and that includes Michael Rooker saying "fuck" every 3 seconds with like the worst line. It was cheesy. It's very cheesy, and I liked it more, to be honest. And I was pleasantly surprised by the co-op mission, better than the Battlefield single player missions I played in that campaign, and definitely better than the open world missions in, was it Modern Warfare 3 or something like that recently? That it was so bad, the campaign. Last year's campaign, what I played of it was actually pretty good. Biggest takeaway for me, man, they really are playing it safe. This feels like they cut the cost budget wise of a typical Call of Duty release. I would say it's half. It is it reminded me a lot of Mario Kart World. How similar Mario Kart World was to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is so similar to Black Ops 6. Like every mode. Zombies is almost identical. Multiplayer is almost identical, just some different maps. So a slightly updated visual interface, which to me is a bit gaudier than the previous game. I think it's uglier for menus, but the game looks good. I'm just surprised at how little effort and how safe they're playing it with this. And it's just like, we cannot fuck this up. We need money. And
like the fact that they did 2 Black Ops in a row, right? Like,
yeah, it's not
that.
Oh, sorry.
Is there a reason for that? Or like, I don't know. Just maybe in the past, they at least alternate so it doesn't seem as repetitive, but
I think it's just a cost cutting measure and making a version that they know is going to be super profitable. But to give it credit, I will say, I think the last Black Ops 6 it's taking place in like, isn't it the 90s or something like that? It's a totally different feel. The weapons are different. This is very futuristic. This is in the future. So it doesn't feel that similar. I will give it credit there. It feels very different. And for everything that feels the same, my perception is like tweaks to how guns feel, and maybe getting a little closer to a Battlefield in terms of variance of spreads, and even shotguns feel different. And when I did zombies, you start with a pistol, and as good as Call of Duty has felt in the past, it feels even better now. I was kind of like I know I've said this a million times, but the feedback systems and feeling of Call of Duty shooting is better than anything else. And I was even more impressed. They've improved upon it even more. It feels so good. So I was kind of done with COD. I was like, I wasn't even going to buy this one. And then I played it and it felt good. And I'm like, I can't wait. And now I'm kind of hooked again. I was really impressed with how it felt, which is the most important thing. It feels great to play. And I'm back, baby. I'm going to have to split my time. If anything, Battlefield 6 made me better at COD. I'm more cautious now and more perceptive. So we've got a nice symbiotic relationship. I can do my dailies in both. And Zombies was pretty good. Seems a little harder. It has like a vehicle that you take from place to place, and doing that with other people online kind of sucked. They got us all killed. So wasn't crazy about that, but I'm kind of digging Black Ops 7. And I'd like to continue to do co-op campaign with Sean, Huck. If you want to do co-op campaign, we got 4, Dwayne. It's a good time. I was really liking it.
It's not just 2, it's 4.
Yeah.
I think it's up to 4 people. Yep.
Cool.
It's pretty
If
good.
I ever have time, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Let us know. Okay, Huck, how about you? You play anything?
Yeah, so I tried actually a game that came to Game Pass, Egging On. Did any of you guys try this one?
I did not.
Very briefly.
So it's a physics puzzle game, I guess, where you are playing as an egg.
Oh, this is that game
Yeah,
where you
and you
I
can
didn't know it came out.
basically the whole thing is you need to jump with the egg and roll around with the egg and basically traverse kind of like, I don't know, I kind of think of it like those old puzzles where you used to turn the knobs and there'd be a ball with holes, like, or on Survivor.
Like Labyrinth?
Yeah, like a labyrinth with a ball that could drop down the holes. It's kind of like that, except you are the ball, and the ball is also egg-shaped and hard to control. So, as you can imagine, there's some frustration involved in it.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say is like when I realized that I'm assuming it's kind of supposed to be one of those rage games to a degree, maybe not quite at the level of like
Co-op or Baby Steps, but it's
Yeah.
in the
but
genre.
it's in that zone. And then I was like a little less interested after playing it for 10 or 15 minutes and
Yeah.
getting annoyed. But
Yeah, I probably put in about 15 or no, sorry, I probably put about half an hour in, maybe 45 minutes. And, it was kind of relaxing, but there's definitely like when you start making more progress and then you fall and you're like, God damn it. It's like, I don't want to do that again. And then you start looking for shortcuts and you like find a couple and you're like, okay, that cut off like 5 minutes. That's not bad. But you have to be like very precise in your jumping. And then there's like, I don't even really know the goal. I kind of started going up the hen house. You kind of like start outside this hen house. So you kind of assume you have to go into it and then to the top. But there's also all these other, I don't know, they almost seem like mini games around the hen house that you could explore. So I explored a couple of those, but couldn't really solve any of them. So I never really got any sort of like dopamine hits that I was doing something correct. And so I kind of flamed out on it. I kind of want to go back, oddly, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't even know if going up that hen house is really what I'm supposed to do here. And I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with these trial things along the side. So it would have been nice if there was a little more direction, at least in the initial kind of tutorial area where they kind of give you some goals. I mean, I guess if it's just like, what's that getting over it game? Like basically you just got to get to the top. Even if they just laid that out a little better, like that's all you need to do is just get to the top of this hen house. That's fine. I don't even know if there's multiple levels. I don't know if that hen house is the only level. I haven't looked into it at all. So I don't know. If you're into frustrating physics puzzlers, I mean, this is another one up that alley. If you like, like you guys were saying, co-op and Baby Steps, it's another one of those for sure. So,
Sean, did you play Baby Steps?
yeah, I did. Actually, that one, I mean, I've been meaning to go back to it a bit just because it is frustrating, but there's a lot more, it's a little more open. So it's like if you get to a point where you're annoyed or stuck, you can kind of just go explore in a different way. And once you get the hang of just the basic walking, that's not too bad. It's more when you're like going across bridges and slopes and stuff where it gets really difficult.
Okay. I mean, the game that these always remind me of that I wanted to like, that was kind of a physics-based movement game, was Snake Pass. Do you remember Snake Pass, where you like move like a snake?
Yeah.
And you had to like coil. And I was like, I'm going to love this game. I love the look of it. I love the concept. I love animals. And it was just awkward to use and play, and it just ends up not being fun. So I'm curious about all of these physics frustration games, but ultimately they're just not that much fun, and I'm not compelled to keep going to them.
So the how long to beat on the Egging On game says 1 hour. So apparently all you have to do is get to the top of this stupid hen house. Okay. And that's probably
I think I remember in the stream they're saying like, and you see all your previous runs like broken eggs scattered as you go up, and I think it doesn't save progress ever, right? You have to do it all in one.
Not that I've seen. But I only cracked the egg one time, I think, and you can kind of like roll around in it and recreate your shell and then continue on. So it's very forgiving. There's no sort of like death screen or anything like that. You just kind of pick yourself back up and keep going. So, yeah, but when you fall down from like 6 feet up, you really don't want to climb that 6 feet again.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, what do you got?
So the only other thing I played, well, the main one I want to talk about, I guess I'll say, is an indie game called MotionRec. And this is definitely kind of in my wheelhouse of like a puzzle platformer that's got a really cool concept that they just kind of keep iterating on and doing interesting things with.
This is a Sean game. Can confirm. Looking at screenshots right now.
Yeah, big time. But it's like, so the main concept is that it's like a platformer, 2D platformer, but you can record your movement for a short period of time and then play that movement back to get to other areas. So like if you know,
Braid type of thing almost.
Kind of, but it's more like there was a mechanic like this in Talos Principle. There's like a couple other games that have had something kind of like this, but more first person.
I think there was a very simple version of it in one of the Ratchet and Clank games where you can record a movement with those Clank puzzles, I think.
Yeah. So like, you know, for instance, you're trying to get across a gap, you kind of back up a bit, record yourself walking for a while, and then you go to the edge of that gap and play it back, and you'll like, you know, traverse across that gap. And then there's just other things they build on top of that. There's like little icons that if you kind of move into them, it'll like replay the same path. So you can like stack paths one after the other. There's like, you can kind of record and then play back what you already had recorded as part of that recording. So you can kind of keep adding on to it. I don't know, like I've only played maybe an hour or so, maybe a little more, but I don't know. It's one of those games where it's like, I just want to keep seeing what are they going to do next? And, you know, it's pretty easy to kind of chip away at it, do one level at a time. There are little collectibles that add an additional level of challenge, but it's not super difficult from what I've seen so far. But really enjoying it.
Yeah, it looks kind of neat. I always, these recording games or stuff like that, like processes that you get recursive or have to think outside, even like superliminal and some of those other perspectives. I usually hit a breaking point with them where I'm loving them, and then there's just too advanced of a concept. So it's always, how do you ease the player through this process so that they know what to do and don't have to look it up. And that's been pretty good in this game so far.
Yeah, so far it hasn't been super hard. Nice.
I've been playing a lot of stuff. Arc Raiders, longtime listener, friend of the show, Blake in Boston, guided me through the Arc Raiders experience, giving me plenty of tips, and would not tell me how to play. I'm like, just tell me how to play. What am I supposed to do? And he wouldn't give it to me. But I'm starting to understand the appeal and the preparation and crafting and survival. It doesn't necessarily lend itself to me, but I like the polish and package so much that I'm compelled to keep returning. And I definitely don't have the positive community experience everyone else seems to have, because I get killed every fucking time when I'm by a lift or trying to extract, and it's getting really annoying. So that's my biggest complaint so far. But I do have to make the observation, you know, as I'm playing with Blake, it's like, okay, there's these cool looking robots, and okay, avoid them, run away, don't go near them. Yeah, oh, there's other players, avoid them, try not to do it. So it's like, that's not that appealing to me. Helldivers is fun because there's these bugs and it's really fun to kill them and shoot them. And when you see them, you're like, I'm going to go kill them. And in this, it's, oh, that looks really cool, I'm going to avoid it. which is a lot less fun to me than other games. So it takes a while for me to see why I would want to play a game where the incentive is to avoid rather than engage. But I'm starting to understand it. It's how you choose to engage. The proximity chat is kind of interesting, even though I haven't used it that much myself. And I would just like to play with other people more. And it looks great. It's borrowing a lot from Concord, if I haven't said that before. Sound design is almost identical. It's crazy how similar it is. And obviously the kind of rainbow patterns and how it's shaped, very similar to Concord. So Concord failed or didn't walk, so Arc Raiders could run. And Sean, bring it up. I know what you're going to bring up. Do it, baby.
Yeah, some people were mentioning that Concord's back through fan-made servers. I don't know how that happened so quickly, but
I don't know how it works. I assume you have to play on PC with like a pirated version of the game. But
I don't know. That's a good question.
If I could get the trophies again, I would play it until I pop that plat, baby. But I don't think that's going to happen. Imagine if Sony planned this, like this is the plan the whole time. We're going to cancel the game and then we're going to start slowly, like a groundswell uprising, and turn it in from zero to hero. It's going to have the most amazing story of any game everywhere. And 10 years from now, kids aren't going to be playing Clash Royale. They're going to be playing Concord. And it's going to be the greatest rags to riches, failure to success, underdog story of all time. No, everyone likes to see someone get brought down to nothing and then return from the ashes.
It's a great narrative for sure.
10 years from now, Concord will be the most popular game in the history of video games. It'll be the only game people play.
I was just seeing something here that Sony is cracking down on these custom servers and issuing takedown notices, but then I'm reading the thread and it seems like it's more videos that people have made using those servers.
They have to they have to commit to the fact that they don't want this game out there. This is all part of the plan. It's all smoke and mirrors to get this game to #1 eventually, to get back that return on investment in the consoleless future, where it's basically Ready Player One, but it's Concord. That's where we'll be.
Yeah.
But Arc Raiders coming around. If you ever want to play, Sean, Hug, anybody, I need people to play with.
Think about it.
Not doing it.
They really should have made this one free to play. Just for me.
Huck.
I put in some time into Herdling, which I think, Frank, you said you beat.
Platinum that, baby.
Yeah, so I don't know, I just looked and it's 3 hours long, so I'm probably about halfway through. Pretty fun so far. Definitely a little bit of like Journey vibe, or a game in that style, but at first
I get like Flower, Flow.
Yeah, Flower's probably better. At first I was a little frustrated by the herding mechanic. I couldn't quite figure out how to direct the herd properly, and they didn't really explain the like stampede mechanic at all. And so when your guys get hurt or you run into those bushes or whatever, I didn't really understand at first that I need to be stampeding them through them. So I've improved my herding skills as the game has gone on, and it's definitely more straightforward than I originally thought. But it's definitely not super intuitive, especially
it's not perfect either, right? Like,
yeah,
it can be very finicky.
Yeah,
and I think this game it's a built-in feature, almost like how Miyamoto would use the excuse that the frustration with Pikmin is intentional. Like, it makes it charming that they don't do exactly what you want to do all the time. Like those kind of rationalizations that make me want to fucking kill someone. And there's a bit of that in The Last Guardian, I remember as well, where these are living things. You don't have complete dominion over them. They kind of go off on their own. But I think Herdling walks a pretty good line of not being too frustrating.
Yeah. The only frustration I had was kind of, I had two moments of frustration. The first kind of area where it's kind of narrow hallways and you're still trying to figure out how to actually herd these things. And I'm trying to like lead them, but that's like the exact opposite of what you want to do. I'm basically herding them away while I'm doing that. And I'd also assumed like kind of camera orientation meant something, but it doesn't mean anything. It's only about your orientation to your herd. So then when you get into some areas where your herd might split a bit, all of a sudden like your sense of where the center of mass is for the herd might be a little off from what the game is telling you. So then it's hard to aim. But it hasn't been too bad, to be honest. Even now I've got, I think 6 or 7 creatures in my herd and it's manageable. It's still making sense. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it and might as well finish it one of these days. And
yeah, now that you mention it, it is kind of impressive for like a smaller indie game that there weren't any situations that I can remember off the top of my head where I was like frustrated with the AI of the herd or getting them to do what I wanted. They pretty much always did.
yeah,
Once, as you said, get that kind of understanding of the deflection and how to navigate the herd,
yeah.
they're pretty responsive.
Yeah, and it's just like a nice small game, simple mechanics, nothing too complicated, perfect. I could pick it back up again after a week and know I will still remember the mechanics and how to play. So I'm enjoying it. It's definitely not a game of the year contender, but it's a fun little game.
Yeah, I think it should be getting a little more attention for sure. Sean.
I'll just mention one other real quick thing. I know you're going to talk about Possessors, I think.
Yeah.
I'll just, there's another Metroidvania game that came out the past week or so called GIGASWORD. And I just briefly tried the demo because I was curious. And it's kind of a cool concept where it's like your character has this giant sword that you attack with, and it's kind of big and bulky and slow to swing. But there are puzzles and things where you have to put the sword down, kind of stick it in the ground, and then you can go off and explore, and you can actually jump higher when you're not carrying the sword and stuff. So it's kind of like this mix of like balancing combat with the sword versus exploration without the sword. And kind of seemed like a cool concept that feels like you could do a lot with, but and reviews are like seem kind of mixed, but I'll probably pick it up at some point.
So it's on PlayStation as well, and the star rating on the store is like 4.11, which is not a great sign because usually it's early adopters or people who are excited about a game like that are rating it or know people that work there. So that's, for a new game, that's really low. Just to put it into perspective, Dispatch, I think was, when I looked it up, was a 4.98 on PlayStation star rating. So
That's high.
Yeah. So I'll just mention Possessors. This is the new Metroid-like from Heart Machine, developers of Hyper Light Drifter. And I remember seeing this at an event a long time ago and thought it looked pretty cool and liked the visual style. And then this game kind of dropped out of nowhere with little fanfare. It's published by Devolver Digital, so I thought it might get a little push. And when I started it, I was like, this is horrible. Because the first direction I went, I couldn't even fight the first enemy. And it's like it was a cone about the size of my shin. And I'm like, I can't beat up this cone and I can't avoid it and I can't do anything. Like,
okay.
How I died at this cone 4 times. I'm like this. So eventually I'm like, just go a different direction. And as soon as I went that way, everything was fine. But the game should have, I think, had an enemy or something that visually conveyed the idea that you can't beat this thing yet, which it did not do well. But I don't think I'm going to spend any more time this year on it. It's not bad, but it's not particularly amazing for a Metroid-like and doesn't really stand out compared to some of the other stuff I've played in that genre. And I just don't think it's something that is going to command my time right now. So not that it's horrible, and I certainly wasn't hating my time. It's a serviceable Metroid-like, but just not mind-blowing, or just threads the average needle for a game like this.
Yeah, it seemed like I'm interested. It seemed like reviews were kind of like in the 70s, seemed like art and maybe story were the high points, but I don't know. I mean, I'll probably check it out at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's got this interesting kind of idea where you equip weapons that are everyday items, and I've never really gotten to a point where I'm managing that inventory yet or tweaking it too much, but it does have this interesting aesthetic or story of taking place in a real world, and that's been altered. But at the same time, the backgrounds feel kind of sparse, and it's a little tough to tell where you're supposed to go at times in terms of environment decoration. But yeah, it's okay. All right, Huck.
Sorry, I was just going to mention I haven't played this game, but just every now and then I jump into the Metroidvania subreddit just to see what games people are talking about that I didn't hear about. And everybody's raving about Lone Fungus Melody of Spores.
Really?
Which I own the first one, and I still haven't played it, but it's surprising that, out of all the games that are out right now, because there seem to be a bunch, this seemed to be the one a lot of people really liked. So,
and it just came out 10 days ago.
Yeah.
And it's part of I will say this word because it's not the one I don't like, but there's a Mushroomvanias bundle. Nice. Through that company. So Basti Games.
Cool.
Nice. Did anyone else have anything else?
I played one more thing. It's a mobile game, and I've become addicted. I don't know if it's other places, but I got it on Netflix, and it's called Underwater Melon. And it's kind of like a I guess I would
looks like Suika game.
I never played that game.
Is this just a rip-off of that?
It is a rip-off of Suika game.
Okay, then that's what I've been playing. And it is fun. It's basically like match whatever the like 2048 type idea meets like Bubble Bobble almost type idea. If that's what Suika game is.
There's a puzzle game, Suika game or Suika game, that got released on Switch. And then there were people copying it, and there was a huge controversy with that. And I think they got pulled from the store. And I don't know how many of these are ripoffs, but this is definitely a ripoff.
Perfect. Yeah, that game's awesome. I should play the original.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun on the eShop too, but I'm sure it's the same thing.
Yeah.
That reminds me though, I know we're running long here, but they just announced this week Netflix launched finally games on TVs. I don't know if you guys heard about this.
No.
Where it's like if you have Netflix on your smart TV, supposedly now you're gonna be able to play games on the TV and use your phone. They have like a mobile controller app on your phone that acts as like the controller, but it hasn't showed up on my Roku TV yet. So I don't know if it's even launched in Canada yet, but I was kind of surprised they have like a whole lineup of new games, and Lego Party was in there. Like a lot of them are like party game specific. Like that's what they're going for, I think. So I'm curious to try it at some point if it does come to Canada.
I will mention, did you have anything else for that Underwater Melon or whatever it's called?
Now that I know it's a ripoff, it's less interesting, but I still enjoy it.
It looks good though. It's got a bit of a different art style. It's kind of reminds me of what was the Capybara game where Critter Crunch? Like visually.
I played that game probably like 6 months ago, just on the PS3 streaming. Still good.
Nice. I will just say, after my very traumatic experience with the Rogue Prince of Persia and losing my save file, I said, I gotta take a step away. But honestly, I just wanted to keep playing because I was loving the game. So I had to start over. I started over.
Wow, from scratch.
Now, once playing a rogue, like I was like, I'll never be better at this game. And I'm like, I just want to continue the momentum, and I'm still having fun with it. Like, legit, it was not a chore to play. I love playing it. And I will say that the thing I love about it so much is the platforming. When you start to get good at jumping and wall running and just navigating the world quickly becomes another element that a lot of other roguelikes don't have, and it's very unique. And the combat does get a little repetitive. I find myself dodging and doing the same stuff over and over again. And Absalom and Hades, I think, stand out by the runs feeling very unique. My runs don't feel that unique in this game, but it's still super fun. And I platinumed it, did everything, and might have just pushed it over the edge for my game of the year list. I spent too much time with it not to be considered. And I think people, if you're a Dead Cells fan, again, you have to try this game. It is it's similar, but different enough to merit its own game. And it actually does well at incorporating the Prince of Persia IP. I think the platforming is a known aspect to those series that it's picked up on. And it just made me think Prince of Persia series in general, kind of underrated. Like Lost Crown didn't get its dues. There was even that cell shaded one for PS3 that was actually pretty good. And they tend to be good games that get forgotten. I would like to replay that PS3 one. I remember really enjoying it.
And at some point, maybe there'll be a Sands of Time remake.
Yeah. I wonder whatever happened to that. Did I have one other thing I played? I thought so. 1 second. Tried Marvel Rivals new season. I'm kind of getting back into that. Still playing Battlefield. And there was one other thing. 1 second. Oh, I tried Borderlands 4 again. And oh my God, it's terrible. All I'll say,
I like it.
I'll say is in that first area, how enemies spawn, there's a I didn't even know what it was. There's like a pad where enemies spawn from. It's like a yellow square, the most generic looking thing in the world. Just look at the effects, the VFX on this pad. They look like the generic particle system in Unity. If you put like a yellow color on the texture, it is so bad. This is might be the single most embarrassing thing I've seen in a next-gen game. The teleporter visual effects in Borderlands, atrocious.
I think you got to get out of that opening area, bud.
I'm done. I'm never playing this game again. I'm
you play
shutting it down.
I'll show you the ropes.
No,
I'll show you what's good about this game.
Terrible. The shooting doesn't feel good. It's brutal. Brutal.
I got to play more just so I can get it on my top 10 this year.
Go for it, dude. Go for it. You want that stain on your list? You bought into I don't know what kind of payola 4K is thrown around for this thing. It's embarrassing.
I got it out of the library this week. Maybe I'll give it a whirl.
Did you play Rudolph?
Oh, I did. And I also played the Grinch game.
I haven't played the Grinch yet. Should we save that? Should we save it for maybe
Yes.
We got to do a Christmas episode.
Yeah, Christmas episode. We're going to be starved for stuff to talk about. So
okay.
I'll play the Grinch game and we'll do a nice little Christmas themed episode. Maybe I'll fire up Christmas Nights for old time's sake.
There was one other one I saw. I can't remember about what it was, but Elf on a Shelf game or something like that.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh
Some
no,
classics.
it's this Elf on a Shelf Christmas Heroes.
Yes, there you go. Tons of
Maybe
content.
that'll be in the library.
We'll be able to
by
talk
then.
for at least 10 minutes
And
about those games.
This is the year for the Christmas cash grab with these games. Oh my God. I swear to God, if they gave us the art assets for Rudolph, we could make that game 2 months and make it better, I would think.
Probably.
Hey,
There's nothing in that
spoiler
game.
alert for next show.
Okay. Anyway, it's so sad. All right, that's going to do it. We've talked enough. So much going on. So many games to play, so little time to prepare our year-end lists for February of 2026. And I'll tell you right now, when these stats drop for year-end numbers, people are going to be blown away with my numbers. They're going to be some serious,
You might not.
numbers.
You might not have the numbers on the other platforms. Sony will give it to you. You'll have that one for sure. But we'll see.
Well, that's where you could be wrong.
Yeah?
Because auto popping across platforms.
I predict.
Oh, boy.
I predict a record low for myself. So stay tuned.
All right. You can watch us on youtube.com/GameJunk, and Discord links are there as well. Whether you're watching or listening, we want to thank you very much. Thank you to all of the listeners. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for your support over all these years and episodes. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.